Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor. This is our weekly TV news episode, and we talk about the week's news. We pick our favourite episode of TV at the end of the show, and we just generally ramble on a little bit. Fair warning about two things about this particular episode of the news. We're recording it a day early, so if there's any big news on Friday, don't fret, it'll be in next week's show. Because Netflix are hitting us with a show, so we have to keep the Friday free so we can record episodes of that.
Yeah. So it's going to be a frequent thing, apparently.
Yeah, it's a busy time period coming up. Caveat number two. You know how I'm usually, I'll make mistakes here or there or whatever. I've had very little sleep, so this is loopy Peter you're getting this episode, so the mistakes may be a little bit more frequent in nature. Bear with me.
Yeah. I'll make fun of them for you, though.
I'm just warning you right now. So we'll get into it. We'll get into the TV news. So first up, a couple of quick things. Jessica Jones has been renewed for season 3 by Netflix.
Okay.
I know some people care. I know we opted out, and we won't be back for it. We likely won't be back for any of the Netflix shows or the Marvel ones at this point. So
Probably not. No.
But hey, also Preacher season 3 got a premiere date of June 24th on AMC. So there you go. That was a premiere date. That's another show we dropped. Because we just really did not like season 2 all that much. But I figured some people would probably still be interested in that. So there you go. 24th of June. And then next up, another little quick thing. Anson Mount has joined the cast of Star Trek Discovery. He has been cast as Christopher Pike. So I mean, obviously, given how it ended season 1, we expected to see Pike in season 2. But if you don't know who that is, actually, that is Black Bolt from the Inhumans TV show.
Aye.
That's
not getting another season, so it's fine.
No, it's not, yeah. I won't blame him, though, for the terribleness of that show.
I don't blame any of the actors in that.
But hey, speaking of casting things, again, another quick thing. Arrow has brought back someone as a series regular for next season. Season 7 will have Colton Hayes back as Roy Harper, as Arsenal.
Didn't he just piss off again?
He was back for a 2-episode arc. It seemed like he'd left after that, but he will be back next season to be Arsenal full time once again. And since Oliver's allies keep leaving him, he needs someone to come back. So
yeah. It's gonna be really awkward that he's gonna be there and presumably Thea's not.
I don't know.
I can't wait to hear the bullshit they come out with to explain it.
I don't know. She died off screen. She's gone.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That surprised me.
Right after they got rid of all those Lazarus pits. How pesky of it.
And then next up, again, another quick thing. This is an update though on a show that we've mentioned a few times. We know there's a Bad Boys spin-off coming with Gabrielle Union's character, so it's going to be two ladies, her and Jessica Alba. It's got a title finally. You know, we kept saying it's a Bad Boys spin-off, and then we was call it Bad Girls. You know, that's going to happen.
Are they not doing that?
They are not calling it Bad Girls.
Right, what are they going with?
Brace yourself for how generic this is.
Has they not even got the Bad Boys in there somehow?
It's called LA's Finest.
Oh, screw that. That is atrocious. You know what? The cynic in me is absolutely shocked that they're not cashing in on the name.
I am. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's because Bad Girls just sounds like it's a porn movie.
It does a bit.
And I think they just want to avoid that.
That's fair.
I think that's all it is.
I'm going to keep calling it
actually,
Bad Girls. I'm not calling it LA's Finest.
I wonder if it's even just I wonder if it's just another show somewhere called Bad Girls and they just can't call it that.
Maybe
it's just, yeah, because I mean, it's a pretty generic sounding title.
It is. Don't get me wrong, it's still a pretty generic, but it's not as generic as LA's Finest.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm just wondering if there's a reason why they can't call it that. Maybe that's why. Or maybe they just thought it sounded too dirty and that's why they don't like to call it that. I don't know. Call it Girls for Life with a 4 or something. You know, that was the whole, Bad Boys for Life. That was the whole, do something like that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, something that references the title, just so at a glance, people know that's what this is. If you tell someone that, LA's Finest, they go, what the hell's that? They're not going to go, oh yeah, that's that Bad Boys spin-off.
I was going to say call it This Ain't Bad Boys, but that also sounds like a porn parody title. So,
I think the problem is they all do.
They all do, yeah. So hey, it's called LA's Finest. Please be excited. So with that, there's actually no comedies this week. We're going straight into dramas.
Oh, okay.
I know it's weird, right? So, and we've actually got a couple of things that we've heard of before. This first one, though, like, this really was scratching my head. And there's a little bit at the end that kind of implies where I might have heard of it before. That said, though, I feel like we've spoken about this more recently. However, the news this week is that Apple is developing a series based on Foundation, the book trilogy by Isaac Asimov. Right? Does this sound familiar to you?
I'm familiar with the Foundation trilogy in general. I feel like we might have spoke about it like a year, maybe a slightly longer ago.
I'm wondering if this, when we spoke about this a year or so ago, this wasn't Apple yet. It was just the producers are working on developing it.
I think so, yeah.
But now we actually have Apple attached to it. But it does mention here at the bottom that HBO attempted to develop it with Jonathan Nolan in 2015. So at the same time as Westworld was in development, he was also dabbling with this.
Maybe that's where we're remembering it from then.
That feels too long ago. I feel like we've spoken about this in this format.
I do as well. I distinctly remember because are you familiar with the Foundation trilogy?
Not particularly, no.
Oh, okay. It has like some huge twists and stuff that by today's standards you can probably just figure out. But they're like the first time these twists have been done.
Interesting.
And,
so it's going to be written and executive produced by David S. Goyer and Josh Friedman, who will serve as co-showrunners. The description I've got here: the book trilogy, comprised of the novels Foundation, Foundation and Empire, and Second Foundation, take place in a time where the Milky Way is under the control of the Galactic Empire. A mathematician named Harry Seldon develops a method to predict the fall of the Empire, leading him to form a group known as the Foundation to preserve and build on human knowledge and speed up the rise of a new empire. So, it's a big sci-fi tale. Obviously, the name David Goyer does not fill me with excitement, but that said, I mean, he's also been attached to things that have been okay, if not good as well. So
his name is one that kind of doesn't really mean anything anymore.
Yeah,
it doesn't give me an indication in any direction.
I'm hoping that Josh Friedman is good, and he will lift it up. That's the hope, because the actual premise sounds interesting as a sci-fi fan.
Yeah.
So there you go. Which will take us out to something else we've heard about before. We heard this was in development, and I think it might have even been with AMC, but the news now is that AMC has officially ordered the series. They have already a 10-episode season that will air in 2019. And this is actually, and what's funny about this is the title of this is one that confused us when we first got this. We couldn't figure out how to say the title, and then afterwards I figured it out and went, that is so obvious, we're idiots.
Yeah. Do you know what? I saw this on Reddit the other day, and I saw the name, and I was like, "What's that?" And I spelled it out all weirdly. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's that. I remember this now."
Because we never figured it out in the episode. We realised after, or got comments telling us after. It's NOS4A2, which you pronounce kind of like it's like a license plate that's meant to say a word. It's Nosferatu.
Yeah.
So we can redeem ourselves here. We can acknowledge it's called Nosferatu, and we can move on with our lives. But the show is based on the novel of the same name by Joe Hill, of course, Stephen King's kid, who has done a bunch of stuff. It follows Vic McQueen, a young working-class artist who discovers she has supernatural abilities to track the seemingly immortal Charlie Manx. Manx feeds off the souls of children, then deposits what remains into the Christmas Land, a twisted Christmas village of Manx's imagination, where every day is Christmas Day and unhappiness is against the law. Vic must strive.
Sounds like hell.
Vic must strive to defeat Manx and rescue his victims without losing her mind or falling victim to him herself. It doesn't sound exactly vampire-y, but I'll take it.
Down.
Yeah, I'm interested. It sounds like it's definitely got an interesting premise to it.
Yeah. Let's see how AMC does with it.
Yeah, it sounds very finite though. If it's just because the entire premise is you can track this one bad guy.
For now.
For now, she'll start tracking other people. Season 2.
She'll learn how. She'll develop her powers.
Okay.
I can. It's one of those where it's so easy to expand if they want to that I wouldn't even begrudge them for doing it.
Yeah, if it's a hit, then they can start making up their own stories for.
Yeah.
And Hill's on as a producer, so maybe he'll even have input in what they do taking it forward.
Yeah.
If that happens. So next up is another one that we've heard about recently, although again this was not attached to a network the last time we spoke about it. In fact, I think we assumed it was going to be on regular network TV, but HBO is given a pilot order to a series called Run, a romantic comedic thriller from Fleabag and Killing Eve creator Phoebe Waller-Bridge and her frequent collaborator Vicky Jones. Waller-Bridge is going to also star in it. Written by Jones, Run is about the ex-lovers who made a pact 15 years ago that if they ever needed to escape life, they could simply send a text to each other saying "run" and impulsively disappear together. Run is their story. So I remember talking about this, but it wasn't attached to anywhere. And I think if I remember right, my opinion at the time, and I still stand by this, the fact that they're calling it a thriller makes it a lot more interesting, because without that word, it sounds like, oh, they just run off together and start a new life, and it's whatever.
Yeah, but no, it's got a different spin on it.
Yeah. So I don't know what to expect with it, but it's just got an interesting enough premise.
Definitely.
I hate how generic the title is, but
yeah. But what are you gonna do?
Because say what you want about Nosferatu's weird spelling, you take that into Google, is popping up with that show or that book.
Aye, you're not having any problems.
So, hey. So next up, we have a producer from Mr. Robot, actually, an executive producer from Mr. Robot, Kyle Bradstreet, who obviously has been working under Sam Esmail, has been tapped to write and executive produce a show called Alice Isn't Dead. And it's a series based on the podcast and the upcoming novel by Joseph Fink. So it was a podcast first, and there's a novelization of it, basically. And there's also a TV show now in development. It's in development at USA Network with Universal Cable Productions, so it's the same sort of family as Mr. Robot. It's created by Fink and published by Night Vale Presents. Alice Isn't Dead is the podcast that follows Keisha as she travels her country as a truck driver, searching for her wife Alice, whom she had long assumed was dead. As the miles pile up, so do the mysteries, because hidden in America's seemingly innocuous corners lie supernatural dangers, all pointing back to Alice. I'm not going to lie, that sounds pretty good.
It does. I'm familiar with this. This has been on my list to listen to at some point.
I was not familiar with it. When I read the article, though, there was an image of the podcast's image, and it's like the truck, and it's like a mirror image, but it's on the dark, it's basically the Upside Down from Stranger Things, where it's like on the lower half as well. And I'm like, I'm kind of digging the sound of this. I've never actually listened to a fictional podcast, but I could be tempted.
I've listened to a good handful. I've got it saved in my app, ready to listen to. I just haven't got around to it yet.
So this could be interesting. So yeah, the novel's coming out sometime this fall. So
cool.
I know that's an intriguing one, and hopefully this guy coming from Mr. Robot, even if he's not one of the main people involved in it,
can bring some style to it.
Yeah, maybe he's some of the qualities rubbed off on him. Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's not to suggest that I think he's bad on his own. He might be great on his own, but I just have nothing to go on.
Yeah, for all we know, he might be a key reason why Mr. Robot is so good.
It could be. So we also have 4 other pilot orders from USA Network.
Okay.
They ordered a shit ton this week. And the first one is actually a movie spin-off of all things. It is a spin-off to the Bourne series. The Jason Bourne movie. It's called Treadstone. If you remember, that was the name of the project in the movie. So it explores the origin story and present-day actions of CIA Black Ops program known as Treadstone, a covert operation that uses behavior modification protocol to turn its agents into nearly unstoppable superhuman assassins. Jason Bourne, the central character of Universal Pictures' Bourne film franchise, was a product of the program. The series follows a new sleeper agents across the globe as they're mysteriously awakened to resume their deadly missions. Heroes creator Tim Kring serves as the writer and executive producer. If you weren't interested before, hearing the name Tim Kring should make you just back away slowly in dread, because Heroes turned to absolute dog shit.
I still don't understand how that first season's as good as it was.
Honestly, season 1 got pretty rough in the second half, aside from one great episode. The charm of it started to wear off after about 9 episodes.
Which episode in the second half were you
Company Man, I think it was called, was the really good episode.
Yeah, that is very good.
That was like, it was kind of like wavering a bit, and then that was really good, and then the last few were just kind of whatever, and the finale was kind of disappointing, and then season 2 was just absolute garbage, start to finish. And people who say it was the writer's strike that affected it, no, it was shit before that ever affected it. It was shit from episode 1. It's garbage. I'm having none of it. I hate that. I hate how what that show turned out. It's just so much.
Do you know what the thing is? I really love the lore of the show. Like, I love the world. It's just the actual storytelling that became a problem.
Yeah, sure.
I'd like more in that world that was, good.
Did you try Heroes Reborn?
I did. It was atrocious. I tried one episode and it was atrocious. I was like,
I also tried one episode just for review purposes, and it was atrocious. So yeah, yeah. Tim Kring, I'm staying away from him as much as I can.
Yeah, I actually had some hope for Reborn in the sense that, okay, maybe they learned from the mistakes. They went, okay, we know where we went wrong. We can, back to basics. And then they clearly had no idea what they were doing. Just a cash grab.
Luckily, my main man from Chuck is bounced back because now he's Captain Marvel. So
he is.
His career's going better now, thankfully.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah. I was going to say Zachary Quinto, who was in Heroes, but that's not who I was thinking of.
No,
Zachary Levi. There you go. That's the Zachary I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Too many Zacharys.
I never thought there was, but apparently, yeah, in Heroes there's too many Zacharys. So, next up, USA Network pilot. It's called Briar Patch. Based on Ross Thomas' novel of the same name, the series follows Algara Dill, a dogged investigator returning to her border town Texas home after her sister is murdered by a car bomb. What begins as a search for a killer turns into a fight to bring the corrupt hometown Algara thought she left behind to its knees. Andy Greenwald is going to write and executive produce. So it's funny, that sounds okay. There's nothing necessarily.
I have very little interest.
Yeah,
but it doesn't
very
sound
good or bad. But then you add on, also executive producing is Sam Esmail from Mr. Robot. Okay, now
I'm more interested.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like he's super involved in it, but his Esmail Corp is producing it, so that's going to appear at the end. So it's like, okay. Well.
So I'm like, it sounds perfectly fine. It doesn't necessarily sound like it's for me, but it doesn't sound bad. And then you tell me that, and I'm like, okay, maybe.
All right, okay. That's the thing. That's the thing. Talent always trumps concept.
It does.
Almost always. There's the rare exception, but typically the good talent will
take something you're not interested in and make it good anyway.
Exactly. Next USA Network pilot is called Dare Me. Based on a novel of the same name by Megan Abbott, the series delves into the cutthroat world of competitive high school cheerleading.
I'm down.
The cutthroat world of competitive high school cheerleading in a small Midwestern town through the eyes of two best friends after a new coach arrives to bring their team to prominence. Abbott's going to serve as a writer and executive producer along with Gina Fattori. So the writer of the book's involved in the show, so that's something. Different audience, seemingly, from the other shows we've mentioned so far.
You think?
I feel like it.
Mm.
If
that's played like really satirical, I could see myself enjoying it.
I mean, does one of the cheerleaders also kill vampires like Buffy from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Because then it might be good.
It was cheap. And you know it. I know you're tired, but work better. Work harder than that.
Look, sometimes the cheap ones are the tastiest. The free are the tastiest of all.
They are, I'll give you that one. Clearly you got nothing else in the news that's a nice, easy leap.
Not that I remember. If we get to something that's really obvious later, I'll feel bad that I blew it on that.
You wasted it on that.
But I'll do it again anyway. I have no shame. That's fine.
No, you don't.
So the final USA Network pilot is called Erase. Dennis Leary's in it. He's going to star. He's also the co-creator. It's a dark comedy. He plays Donald O'Neill, a dirty ex-cop who decides to do the right thing and bring down his complicit superior officers. But his best weapon in this battle, a photographic memory, is suddenly compromised by symptoms of early onset Alzheimer's. Donald must now race against the time to repair the damage he's done to his estranged family while trying to avoid being killed off by his enemies. Alex Carey is the other co-creator, and they're both serving as executive producers.
I'm good.
The Alzheimer's thing could be an interesting thing to play with. See if they play it again. If this is the sort of thing where if it has the style, but it's really psychological, and he's like starting to doubt his own memory, and they really play with that, like he's unreliable with himself. I could see potential there. It could also just be like a really typical kind of.
I feel like they're just going to use it as an excuse for him to forget pieces of important information.
Very, very possibly. Very possibly. I'm looking for the potential, because you never know.
Yeah.
This could turn out to be one of these sleeper hits where, oh, by the way, did you hear about this thing? It's amazing.
It could, and if it is, I'll say I was wrong.
Again, go back to Mr. Robot. If I told you before that started, it's about a hacker guy who hacks into big corporations and cause some financial crisis.
I'll be honest. I'm immediately more interested in that than I am the one that you just read. That speaks to me more.
Not by much, though. Come on.
I don't know. Going after big government and big corporations. I can
easily see that being as generic as everything.
It can be, but I have a modicum amount of interest more than I do in the cop one.
Okay. Next up, Sacha Baron Cohen has been cast in the lead role of a Netflix show, a limited series called The Spy. It is a 6-episode series. It tells the story of Eli Cohen, a spy for Israel in Syria in the early 1960s. Cohen managed to embed himself into Syrian high society and rise through the ranks of their politics. His actions, connections, ultimately his death, have had lasting consequences, shaping the Middle East as it is today.
I'm down.
I'm not particularly interested in this. I'm not a big spy guy, so calling it The Spy is kind of my first put off. And honestly, making it realistic, like something based on like real life, almost makes it less interesting to me as well. On top of that, because so it's going to be more even down to earth spy stuff.
Yeah, see, I like the sound of that.
I'm just getting flashbacks of falling asleep during Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
I love that movie.
As I read this description. So yeah, not for me probably, but it's a limited series. Netflix are doing it, so it sounds like a more serious role for Cohen, who of course is more known for his outlandish comedy characters.
Yeah, he's been doing a few serious things lately, I think.
He's had a couple. I'm not saying he's not done any, but he's definitely still known for Borat and Ali G. And
he is. I actually think he's a really good actor, though. From what I've seen of him.
I don't think I can forgive him for Great Dictator. Not Great Dictator.
It's not that bad. Just The Dictator, I think.
Just The Dictator. Yeah, I'm thinking of the Charlie Chaplin movie, which is a good movie for the record. Dictator was I hated that movie with a passion.
I think it's boring, but I don't hate it.
Oh, every other joke made me want to strangle him, like just throw him off a building and into like a spiked pit.
I mean, full disclosure, I watched this drunk with a bunch of friends, so maybe it is even worse than I remember.
I saw it in the theater.
Why?
Killing time. The other people there wanted to see it. I've seen everything else. It's not like I can really fight that much. It's awful. It was awful. Alright, so last up in the news then.
Oh, okay.
It's quicker news week this week. Not a whole lot there. But last up, Paramount Network is put in development a thriller drama called I Know Who You Are. Based on the 2017 Spanish limited series, which is in Spanish. I'm not going to try and say that.
Not tonight.
Si Quien Eres.
I'm assuming that was just
probably
wrong.
Probably. I have no idea what the little accents do at the various letters, so I just go for it.
Yeah. Why not?
But hey, so I mean, I assume it's translated from I Know Who You Are, but just a guess. Could be something different. Sometimes they rename these things. The project comes from The Last Ship co-creator Stephen Kane, director David Semmel, who's worked on a bunch of stuff, recently Star Trek Discovery as a director. I Know Who You Are is a missing person thriller that follows a morally ambiguous celebrity journalist who awakens from a car accident as a suspect in the disappearance of his own niece.
Okay.
So, not a lot to go on with that one, I don't think. But
no. So, I mean, again, there's another one where I'm not super interested, but I mean, it could be all right. It's hard to say. They're really not giving me much, even in tone on this one. Don't really know what to expect from it.
Yeah, like I'm kind of half expecting him to have like amnesia, or not amnesia, but to be like missing a day, and that'll be part of the mystery that he doesn't know what happened to his niece during that day. And he was seen to be with her, and he can't remember, what happened with her. And
probably.
I mean, it doesn't say that, but I'm just kind of getting those vibes from it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But hey, so that's us. Yeah, quicker news this week. The movie news is later as well, actually. We're going to do that next, but quite a week. Yeah.
Also, we've mentioned Mr. Robot a few times. We did get a little tidbit this week.
Oh, go on. Yeah, you noticed this on. Was it an interview with Christian Slater?
Yeah, he's promoting the new the Suicide Squad animated movie because that's getting a physical release this week, I think. And we already covered the digital release, so you can go check out that review because I'm going to be a shill for once. It's usually his job, but yeah, why not?
Right, Joe, you can check out if you're a patron. I just put up my newest audio commentary for the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 2, episode 4. Inca Mummy Girl. We're up to.
That is maximum shill.
That was a shill and a Buffy reference. That was like everything at once.
Yeah, that was pretty awful of you. But anyway, they were talking about Mr. Robot, and he mentioned that it'll probably be a while because they're not getting back into the writer's room until June, and they're not expected to start any shooting until November. So
I'm
Mr. Robot this
expecting
year.
April to June sometime for a start date next year then.
Yeah, optimistically.
I think that's a reasonable expectation. June being the later end of it.
Yeah, I can see it slipping a little bit, with any sort of delays, anything goes a little bit wrong.
I'll be sure if they end up being delayed in the stuff they've already said they've got planned, but I feel like this feels like it's going to end up airing around the same time that season 1 did because it's taken like it's skipping a year, so therefore it's going to background full circle.
I think a lot of it depends on how technical Esmail wants to get in some of the episodes and how long they take to shoot.
I mean, if he wants to take 2 years, you know what? Take 2 years because the show's fantastic. I will not complain. Take all the time you need.
I agree. It's just somewhat disappointing to be like, oh, we're not getting any this year.
No, that's true. What we're looking forward to at the end of the year. TV wise, I don't know.
Maybe Stranger Things.
Even that's pushing it.
That might not be. Yeah.
I think at best that's a Christmas thing. Honestly,
at best. That's what I say. End of year. I mean, we're gonna have Travelers at the end of the year.
Presumably, that's switched to a full Netflix original now, so that could change the schedule a little bit.
We could.
We're basically just at the mercy of it because all of our big cable shows and stuff are all basically on this month. they're all starting now. There's not a whole lot left for the rest of the year to give us outside of new things that we don't know about yet. That could be big. Or
we've got Better Call Saul still.
Oh, Saul. Yeah, Saul's the one outlier. Yeah, we got Saul at some time in the summer.
We've got something to rely on.
They've all fallen at once. It's really annoying.
I know.
Super annoying. I would love, we got Legion, we got Expanse, we got Westworld, and we got Handmaid's Tale all starting in April. And I feel like, you know what? Spread those out with Better Call Saul. That's the 5 big shows, say, of the year. Spread them all out. One starting every couple of months. They'll overlap a bit, of course, but they'll never be more than 2 at a time. Perfect.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
But no, 4 of them at once. Bastards. Plus the Terror's on, and we're doing that, and
Timeless, and then Netflix.
Yeah. So hey, but that wraps up the news then. So we will be picking our favourite episode of TV from the week. I did not get our schedule up to look back at what we had. So
I did. Do you want me to list out what we?
Let me see what I can get off the top of my head. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
The Terror.
Yep.
Legion.
Yep.
The Expanse.
Yep.
Timeless.
Yep. And
then obviously some snicket episodes.
Yeah. And you did an Ash vs Evil Dead.
That I did, yes, that's true. What to pick? Got Expanse back. Legion had a great episode. S.H.I.E.L.D. had a pretty great episode. Terror possibly had its strongest episode yet. I mean,
it did, yeah.
Pretty strong week of TV all around. So, what are you going with?
I'm going with Legion because as good as some of the others were, I didn't come out of any of the others with the same feeling I did coming out of Legion.
Yeah. I think I'm going to agree, although... Well, hang on, wait a second here. I've seen Legends of Tomorrow, and you haven't yet.
Look, I know a thing from that. Are you really telling me you're considering that over Legion?
All I'm saying is that Legion did not have...
Yes,
that scene.
It's
a sort of show that could have that scene. Legion is a sort of show that could pull out that scene out of its ass at some point, but
it hasn't yet.
I'm joking, of course. I'm going with Legion, but Legends of Tomorrow finale. I'm looking forward to talking about that in the Television for the Multiverse podcast that we do at the end of the week, where we talk about all the DC TV shows of the week.
Full chill today.
Yeah, full chill today. Yeah, I know. So you can afford that. Obviously, we talk about Flash, your Legends, your Black Lightning, your Krypton, unfortunately, your Arrow. And of course, when Supergirl's back next week, we'll be back with that as well. That'll swap out with Legends. So you look forward to that. We basically mentioned all the stuff we've done this week, TV-wise, so you got that. But of course, coming up over the next week, we have the return of a couple of things. We have the return of Westworld.
Yes, but that'll be after the next news episode, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
We have Lost in Space starting. I mean, when this goes up, it'll be today. Time of recording, it's tomorrow, but Lost in Space, we'll be reviewing that. And the early reviews seem to be fairly positive, so there's a good chance we'll probably be sticking with that and watching the whole thing and reviewing the whole thing. Obviously, if we watched episode 1 and we were clawing our eyes out,
we might disagree. It happens.
Yeah, it does happen from time to time. But it looks pretty good from the trailers. So
it does. It does.
I'm feeling relatively positive on the subject. So that's coming up, but otherwise that's about everything I feel like plugging, unless you have something you specifically want to plug.
I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much everything that we've done or going to do.
Yeah, but I can't stress enough. I've got commentaries of the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer for patrons at the commentary tier.
Yeah. They just keep on coming, don't they?
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? I'm not even doing that to shill the Patreon. I'm doing that just because I want to reference Buffy. It's just an easy way of doing it.
You've literally built in a way to reference Buffy whenever you want.
It's so easy. Yeah, but speaking of Patreon, yeah, we have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/MailFuzzTV.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, there's a commentary tier. That's a slightly higher up tier, but of course the regular, the $1 and $5 tiers, lots of things in there. Some early access to some things like the Star Trek reviews, the classic Star Trek reviews. You get those a week early. You get some of the movie reviews a bit early for the classic stuff and various other things. There's voting stuff for the $5 tier for the movies, and basically, if you give us the $1 a month, you're supporting us more than watching ads on YouTube would be. That said, if you can't afford that, don't feel bad. Just watch the ads and let them play. Maybe that helps us out. We actually get more of a fraction of a penny if you let the ad play to the end.
You really don't get much from these ads.
Not a lot, but still, every little helps. So,
it does.
But yeah, that's us. So thank you once again for everyone who's been watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?